Hello, hello, hello. I'm Pamela Cece. This is a really impromptu video today. My higher self, spirit, wouldn't let me take notes first, nothing. I had to just get on. And as you can see behind me, we've got a little bit of organised chaos. I wasn't even allowed to tidy up my area. And you'll understand why in a minute. So I want to share with you one of my experiences and some wisdom and knowledge that goes with it that may inspire you. And I'm quite blown away. I've started to become part of a community unity type movement with My Place Australia. You can find them on myplaceaustralia.org to find out more information if you're interested. I'm with the Noarlunga one, My Place, and we're doing amazing things, and I'll get to that in a minute. First of all, we often have dreams or really strong inspirations of things we want to do, and our blockage is we've been programmed to think how first. How can it be done? It's too big. I'd need this. I'd need that. I'd need people to do this. I'd need people to do that. It's too big. How? It's never going to happen. I've been in a situation in this lifetime where I've been on a very low income, unable to hold down a job for various reasons. Lots of challenges. So one of my blockages with my dreams and desires and heart yearning, my problem was I always kept asking how and thinking it was too big. You never, ever ask how first. About 8 years ago, I tried to start a community on Facebook. I started a group. And it was called QC.U.E. And it stood for Compassion, Unity and Equality. So Q, community. And, you know, some movement started. It was about some holistic people, energy healers, people that could run meditation groups, wanted to help the homeless, various other ideas that I was very passionate about. And yes, we did get some movement and some people joining and all the rest of it, but it didn't really take off. And part of that could have been the how was in the way too much. The other part, I believe, is divine timing. Like, I wanted it so bad back then and tried so hard to get something to happen. And now I really understand about universal timing or God's timing or higher powers timing or whatever label you want to give it. And your own soul, your own light's timing of being ready. What's in your life at the moment that hasn't got space for your dream? Have you got the right people in your life? Friends, family? You know, are you being held back by being a pleaser and doing everything for everybody else and ignoring your own needs. In the last couple of years, I've realised, hang on a second, let me just breathe. I've got like 3 conversations coming in my head at once. This is how authentic we are today. 1 second. It's about timing. COVID had to come along and kick everybody's ass, for want of a better word, and slow people down. So they had to feel, become more aware of their thoughts, their patterns. It got people to become aware and look at who's in their life and how many people are in our life through conditioning. So through have-tos, whether it's, you're attached to a church and or your family's got a strong culture and certain things aren't okay, and like it's just been the biggest upheaval. And anyway, so COVID had to happen for something like My Place Australia to start. And like I said, I'm in My Place Noarlunga, and I can honestly say I have had many tears of joy in the last 3 months being a part of this community. The community has like 15 subgroups and we do lots of different things. You're welcome to check that out. Sorry, a bit emotional. I dreamt of this for years, being a part of a community that went out and helped humanity in a unity way, not as in help, as in feel sorry for people, but realising that, we all have red blood that goes through our veins, and no culture, no colour makes a difference. No lifestyle, no orientation, none of it matters, And for years I yearned for this, and, I'm quite a sensitive, empathic being, and the amount of times I have wept seeing people suffer, whether it's on the streets, abuse victims, myself over the last many years have spoken to and held space for people that have gone through trauma, whether it's DV or whether it's adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. I've ran meditation groups, voluntary. Anyway, you don't ask how. Do you know what you do? You have to say yes first. And your ego won't like that. Your personality won't like that. All the conditioning from your family or your background or the people around you, whatever, that tell you can't do it, or that's unrealistic, or it's just the way things are, and push it aside. All you have to say to the universe or God or higher power or higher self or whatever your thing is, doesn't matter. We've all got red blood running through our veins. Is, okay, this is what I'd like to do. This is what's in my heart. And out loud, seriously, tell the universe, I say yes. And please bring to me the right people, circumstances, resources, write it on an A4 piece of paper and big texter and put it on the back of your dunny door or next to your bed head, or, you know. But it also is about timing, because there's no way, I wouldn't have admitted this at the time, let me tell you right now. But there was no way I was ready 8 years ago to do what I'm a part of now with my place. Absolutely no way I was ready. I had family that didn't really believe in me, so I felt very limited, and my spiritual beliefs they thought was mumbo jumbo. Not that I needed them to believe me, but support me despite my beliefs, you know. It was like a taboo subject. And I also had friends in my life and that were takers, and I was overgiving. Some of my overgiving, as I reflect now, some of it was being the pleaser, wanting to be the good girl because of childhood patterns. Some of it was I genuinely wanted to help people and hold space and give compassion. But there was a small part of me that didn't want to look at my own shit, didn't want to look at my own patterns, didn't want to take responsibility on some level of why I was attracting certain people, because I just didn't understand. And some of it was my patterns and traumas that I hadn't looked at. And I just disconnected. Hang on a second. Got to take a few deep breaths again. And another issue was my partner at the time. A lot of what I do is, most of what I do is voluntary, and not many people see value in that. And sometimes my partner would get shitty because I was helping others a lot. Guided meditations, a bit of energy work. Not everyone understands, But isn't it amazing? 8 years later, here I am, sitting here now, and I'm part of this amazing community. And these bags behind you, just one small part of what we're doing. These bags behind you have stuff like shampoo and conditioner in them, gloves. What else have they got? Sanitary napkins, scarves, beanies, socks, and they're to make backpacks for the homeless. And that's just one thing we're doing, So hence, I've been doing this all morning, and then I got really, really, really loudly, you got to do a video right now. And I'm like, I want to take some notes. And it's like, nope, be authentic, be raw. This wanting to be professional or have everything look nice, you do that first before jumping on, and you lose that authentic flow. Doesn't matter what anyone thinks. You think this is messy and it's not professional and you don't like it, click off the video. It's all good. We're not here to get approval from anyone, and we're so programmed to get approval, especially as a young child. And that goes on, and then you need approval from this, and then you need approval from your boss, and we do so many things from this place. And people are starting to wake up. People are starting to realise they've been living their lives for others in not such the good way. When you go within and you really start looking at your own patterns, which is not a fun thing to do. I've had a few of them, let's just say that. And you start to work out why you're doing them lovingly, not in a blame way. Blame will get you nowhere, whether you're blaming another person or you're blaming yourself. Taking a bit of self-responsibility has been a bit of a challenge for me in my life, to be honest. Been through a lot of trauma. Some of it I created myself from not having healthy boundaries and not knowing how to set healthy boundaries and not recognising manipulative behaviour. And some of it was just is, just happened, just is, and has taken a lot of work to move through that. But through that, I've gained a lot of skills and experiences. I was going to say knowledge, but you can know stuff, you can learn stuff, absolutely, and it's helpful, and you can help others to a degree. But when you guide, share from your own experiences in an authentic, spontaneous way, people can feel it, people can hear it in your voice, rather than I learnt this and you do X, Y, and Z, and, when you guide / teach, for want of a better word, from your own experiences, it's so much more powerful and effective. And everything really is energy, everything. And the energy in your voice when you're slowing down and being authentic, just that vibration shifts something in someone, opposed to, taking notes and and you do this and you do that, and I went through this, so you need to do this. You can tell the voice change. You can tell that it's coming from the brain, whereas we really need, that alignment of, mind, soul, body to really make a difference. And learn. We're like us Westerners, and I find, this is my opinion, please don't comment if you think differently, I really don't, but I find us Westerners here in Australia are we've been programmed to be like the most offended people. We're offended at everything, someone says they think you could do something differently and they're offended, and they, you said this, and believe me, I've been guilty of that too. All right, I'm not, by no stretch of the imagination am I perfect, but I'm just giving you some examples, yeah? And, I've got to walk my own talk more. Don't you worry about that. I'm aware. But it's just, I suppose the biggest message, and I've given you an example of 8 years ago trying to create a community and doing it now, everything is divine timing. And that timing aligns not just from God, Bob, the universe, whatever label you want to give it. It also has to do with your soul, your being, how much inner work you've done for that to align with that. If you're still in, pleaser mode and doing things out of guilt and got people around you that limit you or put you down, or aren't in alignment, that's a good one, then you're not going to bring in that experience. So I wanted this experience of community and doing several projects and helping the homeless and doing holistic work and I wanted this. And 8 years ago, there was this. I'm here, and this is here. And I had to go through all of this internal changes, cleaning up my backyard, making sure I was around people, not that I was judging people around me as not good enough, that I did shed a lot of people. And a lot of people shed me as I started growing and changing because I wasn't doing the same dance or the same rescuing or the same, you know what I mean? So as to align to something of a high vibration, right? So to me, working in a community that's there to be there for the community and provide services, information, experiences, teachings, and you've got all this junk in your life, it's not in alignment. So as much as, back here 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I was like, why isn't it happening and nothing's aligning, and I meet these people and I join this and it's all ego and it's shit and da 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 da. Not that I'm perfect, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, someone sends me a link to my place, Noarlunga. And I watched a video on it, and it gave you a basic outline of the original creator. And the original creator was in Victoria, I believe. And at the end of 2019, if I remember correctly, a wonderful man called Darren created a My Place over there. First My Place, because so many experiences and shutdowns and chaos and small businesses falling and all the crazy stuff. Victoria was the hardest hit during the pandemic. Anyway, so he started a My Place Unity thing there, and that grew quite rapidly. And now I believe at this moment in time we have 9.5 thousand people in My Place Australia. And then that's sort of all the subgroups come down from that. So I think, don't quote me, I could be giving you slightly incorrect information. I believe there's 80 My Places in Australia now. It's a massive movement. And the horrific experience of shutdowns and COVID and all the rest of it. The division in families because some were getting the thing and some weren't, and the programming and fear tactics, and just trying to be careful with my wording here. I don't condone at all that anyone suffered during this time. But in every negative, I know this sounds so cliche, in every negative, positive comes. That's how the light works. It shines its light in every disaster, every circumstance, every control, and the truth and the light are the same thing, and all you need is a pinhole. That's all the light needs. And as I was thinking of that last night, that phrase, for want of a better word, came to me. And I closed my eyes and breathed into it because it just felt so beautiful. And then I got this amazing vision. And we'll be able to relate this to recent circumstances. So there's this 1.5 metre thing that we've all experienced in the last couple of years. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't just believe it because medical people have said it. It kind of makes sense to me. I use my own barometer that, if you were to have the common flu, you sneeze, you cough, you don't want to cough on someone next to you. I get the 1.5 metre thing in that aspect. However, there's also a bigger meaning to that. Okay, so that's the science. The spiritual aspect of that is flashing in my eyes. Ground myself again, sorry, 1 second. The spiritual aspect of that is each of us have an energy field around us, whether you can see it or not. You can feel when someone walks up behind you, even if you can't see them or hear them, because you'll naturally turn and you'll feel it. So that's an energy field, and it has all the information in your body and out of your body in your field, yeah? And that goes out about, 6 feet maybe. Is 6 feet 1.5 meters? I don't know. Interesting thought though. Anyway, so when you're 6 feet apart, there's not as much connection and there's not as much light. So I want you to visualize something with me for a second. So there's a big hall, and you've got 100 people in it, because I can work with those numbers. Maths is not great for me. So you've got 100 people in the hall, and they're all spread out 6 feet apart. And they've all got a candle, and they all light a candle. Okay? And someone turns the light off, and you can see those candle lights. Now, if we ask those people, those 100 people in that hall, to go from being 6 feet apart into a cluster, let's say a circle, but the circle's filled in, yeah? So everyone's touching shoulders. Everyone's literally like up against each other. It would appear that the candles are brighter. And I know for a fact when you put, say, 100 people together that close and they're all holding candles, that you can feel the heat more coming off the candles. So it appears brighter, there's more heat, so therefore there's more what? Spiritual power, spiritual light. Do you get what I mean? Energy fields close together, yeah? Got me? So if you spread these people back out, these 100 people, back out to the 6 feet radius, it appears not to be as bright. You definitely can't feel the heat as much. You, the individuals 6 feet away, can feel the heat of the candle, but you can't feel heat here. So you can't feel power there either. Now, if you've got a bunch of people in a room, I'll use a pub for an example, which is a bit cliche. You've got a bunch of people in the pub and they're all having some drinks and there's some blokey blokes, and I'm not judging anyone, right? Let's not go there, people. It's an example. And a fight breaks out. You will find, because everyone's in a small proximity of energy, it will rub off on you to a degree. And often that involves more people getting in punch-ups and joining in or chanting or encouraging, because it's catchy, right? What you're around, you become to a degree. And then you'll have the people maybe a little bit more on the outskirts of in the pub who, their heart's going to the clappers because they feel fearful. They're not joining in on the chanting and punch-ups that are breaking out. but they're feeling the energy of that, even though it's not happening directly to them. Yeah. So do with that little chat what you will. And I'm really grateful to the, at the moment, 718 members of My Place Noarlunga. I'm grateful to every single one of them for being a part of the community in whatever capacity they're able to, whether it's occasionally helping at an event or collecting some items or being a coordinator. There is no better than or less than, or, you know, bigger or smaller. Oh my God, love my wording, dyslexic. Contributing, doesn't matter. Whether you collect, you know, one item a week for the homeless, it matters just as much as someone coordinating a group. You know, we've been so programmed that, oh, if I can only do this, it's not worthy or it's not helpful. Everything is energy. The fact that you brought that one item a week has contributed, and your intent and your heart energy of doing that amplifies out its energy, and it affects the people around you. So everything counts. A reminder of energy, and you've got to say yes first. The how, you can't do that first. You just got to say yes, and then let the universe know, I need resources, I need the right people. I couldn't have necessarily done what Darren did, and Darren is still doing, the original creator of My Place Australia. And maybe I could have, I don't know, but, you know, get my point. Like, it's come in for me at the right time. I have a small circle of amazing friends. I've obviously met this community, but I'm talking about my own personal stuff here. You know, I've got a very small circle of friends, and it's quality. It's real quality. We're all a bit different. We may not have some interests in common, but there's a natural respect, and they've all got compassion, and I'm very blessed. I don't have my own home at the moment. Doing a bit of couch surfing for the last couple of years. You know, divorce and fun stuff like that. But as much as it's been difficult, and I've been, you know, there's been a few times I've been like, universe. I wouldn't have found My Place Noarlunga if I wasn't exactly where I am right now. And I wouldn't have aligned with it. I didn't have room in my life. I would have forced myself to a degree, hypothetically. But there were too many wheels off my bus. So you've got to say yes first. That's it. Say yes. And ask for resources, ask for people, ask for whatever. Like, just keep asking the universe, and watch you bump into people or come across a post where someone, like I'm doing right now with you guys, you'll come across what you're meant to come across when you start saying yes and allow the universe to sprinkle rose petals for you. thank you all for being here, and please like, share, and please subscribe if this aligned with you. And I hope it inspires others as well. Thank you for your time today, and I hope you feel good and uplifted, and thank you.